When a violent crime of hate reared its head in Houston with the bloody murder of a gay man, the horror and outrage that followed prompted police to do something radical. As Bob McEwen tells us, it not only changed the way police work, it also changed the police.
It's Saturday night in Houston, a full house at the Wild West Club. Urban cowboys and cowgirls out for a good time. Across town, they're doing the Texas two-step two. At the BRB, a club in a Houston neighborhood called Montrose.
Nowhere else in Houston are you going to go to gay clubs that I know of other than Montrose. Montrose has that reputation.
Sergeant Lawrence Newcomb works the Montrose beat.
Kids hear about this in school. And so as soon as they get that, that driver's license, and then mom and dad will let them out on a Friday and Saturday night. They want to go down to Montrose, see what it's all about. And they get down there, and it's a whole other world to them. They have men dressed as women, two men walking down the street, arm in arm or holding hands. They've never seen that before. It's all down there for them, and they love it, And then they kind of get carried away and get overboard, and then that's where we have the problem with the gay bashing.
Last summer, 10 teenagers from a Houston suburb came to cruise Montrose. At 2:30 in the morning, their paths crossed with 3 gay men not much older than themselves.
I've always told myself I have like a sixth sense about things. And it obviously didn't work that night. I mean, if I have one, because I didn't realize right until they started getting out of their cars.
Carrie Anderson and his 2 friends Rick and Paul were returning to their car along a darkened street.
Set the scene, Carrie.
I noticed a car and it was full of guys, at least 6 or 7 guys, and they were young. And they looked, real clean cut, real nice. Next thing I knew, I remember hearing somebody say, "Get him." And I just remember seeing all these guys just pile out of the car, and I just took off. I took off running. And I remember seeing the 2x4s with the nails in them, and I just thought, this is going to go in my back. And I remember closing my eyes and just bracing myself. I remember taking a deep breath, and because I fully expected to feel those nails in my back. But I just kept running.
Could you hear what was going on?
It sounded like you were at a football game or something. It's like they were really happy about what they were doing. They were like shouting and screaming, and it was like they were having a really good time. That's the only thing I ever really remember. Everything happened so fast. And then I heard one of the cars start to take off, so I ran back out, and I saw Paul laying in the grass there.
Paul Broussard was beaten with 2x4s spiked with nails. He was stabbed twice with a knife. Broussard was conscious just after the attack, but 7 hours later, at the age of 27, he was dead. The 10 teenagers have been charged with first-degree murder.
Paul Broussard's story is not just another case of violence against a gay man. His murder is the first ever in Houston to be officially designated a hate crime. It's galvanized the entire gay community here, and it's forced the police department to do something never done before.
Paul Broussard was murdered not too far from where we're at right now.
Sergeant Newcomb was assigned to head a new undercover operation. This time, instead of posing as drug dealers or pimps, he and his officers were to assume the role of gay men.
And we decided, why don't we deploy decoy officers in the area targeting gay bashers? I actually try to draw them out.
At the time, it was a job many Houston police thought unnecessary, and a problem few of them understood.
Nothing like this had ever been started in any other police department. We didn't have anybody to look to for answers or questions.
Officer Randy Grounds.
We just had to go out there on our own and pose as a homosexual.
The whole sting operation was kind of a learning experience, and I did not know. I didn't know how to dress, how to act.
Officer David Johnson.
And we had some of the gay community fuss at me and a couple of other officers for the way we dressed. We didn't have the right shoes, or we didn't have the right walk.
And after we got out there, we just kind of were ourselves, and everything fell into place for us.
After about 4 days, I thought we knew what we were doing. I had a handle, had a grip on everything, so we went out. We'd gone almost our complete 8-hour shift, hadn't seen a thing. And I was thinking, you know, this operation is not going to work because there's nothing going, because once again, there's nothing going on out here. That's what I thought. And we were just about to call it night.
We were sitting in a car in front of a gay bar, and a carload of kids, 17, 18 years old, pulled up next to me and asked us if we were gay. Well, to go along with the sting, of course, we told them that we were, and they asked us if we would meet them around the corner. They wanted to talk to us. Right then, we knew that something was fixing to go down, and it didn't sound good. But going into that dark alley behind that gay bar, not knowing what they had in their hands, and we go around the corner, and they pull up their car right next to ours, so close that we can't even get our car's door open. And then they reached into my car with a baseball bat and hit me in the head and the arm. And before we could react, we were being bashed. And that's when it really woke us up that very first night, that this was really serious action going on in the gay community.
In just 2 weeks of the undercover operation, 4 police officers were attacked and beaten. There were 15 arrests.
Each one of the officers who were attacked in the sting operation could just as well be dead right now. I could have been dead. If they would have pulled out a gun instead of a fist, I would be dead.
There's a big leap from cruising the streets on a Saturday night to beating somebody with a baseball bat or a piece of wood with nails in it.
There are always a bunch of kids together going out looking for a good time, and they get carried away. It probably starts out with ridicule.
Pro-choice.
Verbal threats. And from there, these kids get excited, get pumped up. They've grown up thinking, you know, being gay is wrong for whatever reason they have in their mind, and they want to attack that.
Well, when we used to go Gaybashers, it's kind of like, you know how you just like, it's almost like, remember I used to smash pumpkins on Halloween? It's almost practical jokes like that, you know, because we didn't even think of them as regular human beings. We didn't have no conscience, you know, so we didn't have to worry about it. So to us, it was no big deal. It was just kind of a laugh on a Friday and Saturday night to change from this small town, you know. It wasn't no big deal to us. We didn't feel nothing.
We met this 19-year-old and his friend at a gas station at 1:30 on a Saturday morning. He asked us not to use his name, but he didn't hide why he comes to Montrose.
You know, like you see, like around here, you know, how they hang out on the corners. We'd almost act like we wanted to pick them up. We'd get over to the car, or they'd get over to the car, take them back of the head and smash it, you know, hit them in the face or something, you know. It's hard to explain because it's like it goes by real quick. Sometimes you really didn't know how hard you were hurt, you know, how bad you were hurting them until it was over and they were, you know, crying or whatever. I don't know. I don't really feel no remorse about anything that I ever did to a gay person. It just doesn't seem like they're real people, you know. It just seems like they're their own race, you know. We usually look for maybe 1 or 2 guys that really, really look gay and walk gay and act gay, and we would just stop and get out and beat them up real quick and jump back in the car and take off. That's about it. In fact, we were talking about that tonight. That's why we were down here.
Going into this, could you appreciate the kind of mentality that might be behind somebody who would go out and attack someone simply because they're perceived to be gay?
I understand it totally. You know,
How's that?
I look back to when I was 17 or 18 years old, I would have been one of the ones probably just out there doing the same thing.
Why?
Ignorance, immaturity. I don't know. the roles, you had to play that macho role, and I don't know how that can make you macho, beating up on a gay person, but that was the big talk as far back as when I was in high school.
There's a part of me that hates them, but I can't understand why, really. Because honestly, they've never done anything to me, to be honest. They never, done nothing wrong to me, but I guess it's just the way I grew up.
Now, as a police officer and a more mature person, it's finally setting in that, hey, I could have been one of those out there doing that. Now's my chance to do something to help those people.
They're stepping in our shoes. They're assuming the role of a gay person. And they're going out there and they're seeing how much fear and how much courage it takes just to be gay.
These men in the pursuit of their own happiness, their own freedom, have to be subject to not only ridicule, but assaults, just because of the way they choose to live. That was something that I hadn't really thought about before.